Hi there, it's June the 24th and we're continuing our journey through the Acts of the Apostles, the book written by Luke as a sequel to his Good News. And we're in chapter 15 and we're reading from verses 36 through to chapter 16 and verse 15. At the beginning of this reading we find Paul and Barnabas in Antioch, and Paul suggests that they go back through Asia Minor, through what is now modern Turkey, and encourage the churches that they've already established at places like Lystra and Derbe and Iconium. And Barnabas agrees, but he wants to take with them John Mark. John Mark, remember, was on their first journey with them when they went through Cyprus and then up to Pamphylia. But John Mark left them in Pamphylia on the coast of Turkey to go back because he didn't want to go into the inland parts of Turkey. And this troubles Paul to the extent that Paul says he shouldn't come with them on this journey because he wasn't with them the first time. Barnabas disagrees, and it says there is a split between them. There is a faction, in the Greek paroxysmos, a paroxysm, and it's a breaking up. It's a sad breaking up, but it shows the humanity of Paul and Barnabas as well. And we also know that there was a later reconciliation. But Barnabas at this point takes John Mark and goes back to Cyprus, which, remember, is his homeland, is his home territory. Paul, meanwhile, teams up with Silas, one of the prophets who had come with them from Jerusalem to Antioch to encourage the brothers, and they go back to the places where Paul and Barnabas had originally been. So they go back to Derbe and Lystra, and when they come to Lystra, Paul comes across there a young believer who is also the son of a believing mother. His name is Timothy, and they just strike up a good connection, a good relationship. And Paul wants to take him with them. He wants to travel with him. There's only one issue. Timothy's father is a Greek, his mother is a Jew, and Paul doesn't want there to be any confusion or any unnecessary controversy, and so he arranges for Timothy to be circumcised. Now, this is not Paul going back on the decisions of the Council of Jerusalem in Acts 15, but he is making the point that where there's going to be controversy, he wants to not have any kind of tangents. He doesn't want to have any distractions from the main event. And so in this situation, Timothy is circumcised. They then travel from Iconium, and they're now heading west, and they're heading north, and they think to establish new works and evangelize the northern part of Turkey, which is the province of Galatia and the province of Mysia. But actually they find the Holy Spirit telling them, no, don't go there. So instead they continue northwest, and they go through to the port on the northwestern tip of Turkey, which is called Troas. And there in Troas, Paul has a vision, a dream. And the dream is telling him that in the dream he's told that he's to go further and cross the sea. He has the vision of a man of Macedonia, across in northern Greece, beckoning him and saying, come over and help us. And so, obedient to this, they get on a boat from Troas, and calling at Samothrace, they land at the port of Neapolis, which is on mainland Europe and is in, as I say, northwestern, modern northeastern Greece. And just inland from Neapolis, the port, is the Roman colony of Philippi. And Philippi was one of these mini Romes again, and they want to share the good news there, and so they go looking for a place where there might be a Jewish worship place, because this is a Roman colony. There obviously isn't a synagogue there, so they go to a place by the river. Jews would worship, if they couldn't have a synagogue, they would worship a place where there was running water, so that there could be the ritual washings and bathings to do with prayer. And they find there a group of people worshipping, among whom is a lady who sells purple by the name of Lydia, or we call her Lydia. And in sharing with Lydia the good news of Jesus, she responds, and she wants to give her life to Jesus. She and her household are baptized, and then she invites them to come and stay with her. and there will be more of an unfolding in the story. One thing that comes clearly out in this story is the importance of following the leading of the Holy Spirit. Paul and Silas were intending to go right, as it were, to go to Galatia, and instead the Holy Spirit forbids them. He forbids them to go to Bithynia, to go right, and instead they go left. And because of their going left, and because of their obedience to the word of the Lord and to the Holy Spirit, the gospel reaches Europe, because Philippi is the first point on the mainland of Europe where the gospel is preached, and Lydia is actually the first European, if you like, to give her life to Jesus. It's also significant that this is a woman. Although it was a man of Macedonia that Paul saw in his dream, it's actually a woman who takes that step. Once again, sign of God reaching out to all and embracing all. There is no distinction with him, and therefore a woman becomes the first European believer. Let us be sure that we continue to listen to the Holy Spirit, to follow his voice, and to be led so that we are doing what God is teaching us to do, just as Jesus himself did. Have a very good June the 24th.